Y'all, it is Taylor Bridges here with my fourth and final video of the day. This is Put a Ring on It, Season 4, Episode 5, and this episode is titled Two Prince Charmings. We start the conversation back with Dr. Stacy talking to Zay and Jasmine. Jasmine feels like she's competing with Zay's homeboys because they're getting just as much of Zay's time and attention, and he hasn't set boundaries with them, especially as it pertains to how they talk to and treat Jasmine. I don't know why Jasmine is even having this conversation. If my own man can't speak to me in a certain way, you think I'm about to let your raggedy homeboys speak to me crazy? And see, now Jasmine, you can't see now that bell can't be unrung. Especially since Zay didn't require an apology and reconciliation from his friend. So now the friends are going to take turns roasting Jasmine to her face. And you already know the guys have already laughed about this situation among each other in private, thinking it's cute to disrespect their homeboy's woman. And that's embarrassing. And Zay is weak for the way he's handling this. I think his demeanor towards the matter just wasn't protective at all. Why would she even want to marry him? That's not husband, protector, provider energy. If that were his sister, he would have had a whole different tune to sing. Like, you're so careless about this woman who loves you that you're going to watch her cry in pain over a situation you could actually do something about, but you'd rather appease your homeboys. It's given that's where you want to be. Like Donnell Jones. It's given nothing can come between you and your man, not even a woman. And it's not even necessarily, about defending your partner. It's about defending what's right among the people that you love. Because if Jasmine spoke like that to the friend, it'd be just as big of a problem. But I guess they say if loving his homeboy is wrong, he don't want to be right. I'm just calling what I see on the screen. I'd be humiliated standing among a group of my man's friends. One of his friends verbally violates me and no one does anything, let alone my man. I never want to come around them again. And no, it's not enough to just keep Jasmine and the friends separate in the future, especially if this is the woman he's planning on marrying. Because then the issue of respect still isn't resolved. So I'm just strongly disliking Zay already. But good job to put a ring on it for replacing controversial Dunbar with somebody just as controversial. All Zay can tell Jasmine is just to not feel that way. Don't feel that way. I wouldn't be able to take it. Like, he's super dismissive of her feelings. That would drive me up a wall. Jasmine and Zay conclude that Jasmine didn't communicate how serious the offense was from the homeboy when it happened. But even a blind man could hear that the friend spoke to Jasmine disrespectfully. Jasmine shouldn't need to say anything. They should have caught it right when it left the friend's lips. But okay, fine. I guess if a man walks up and slaps Jasmine, Jasmine needs to explicitly explain to Zay how the slap hurt her face, how the slap hurt her feelings, how the slap embarrasses her, makes her feel violated, and that she would pretty please like Zay to do something about it. So I'm glad everyone's clear on what needs to happen the next time Jasmine is disrespected in Zay's presence. Gayla is Zay's date. She's a hairstylist in Atlanta. She says she normally does the intimidating when speaking to men, so I was expecting her to come on quite strong during the date. She's a beautiful woman, well put together. Zay stupidly asks her if she wants to ride on his motorcycle or the Benz. And I'm with Jasmine. That's just stupid. Even if you didn't have a girlfriend, does she look like she wants to put on a huge helmet and straddle you while wearing that dress? You're trying to brag and it's just unnecessary. You sound stupid. They end up going to a restaurant to get to know each other. She has 2 kids, but she seemed a little bit of low energy. You know, not that that's a bad thing. She just wasn't showing up to be this like aggressive person she was claiming herself to be when she sees a guy that she likes. So I was like, maybe she just doesn't like Zay. And I wouldn't be surprised about that because Zay is not a catch. He is not a catch at all. But she also says she hasn't been on a real date in a while. And I'm like, okay, that's alarming. It's so many like people to take you on real dates out here. So what kind of men is she messing with? But Zay found her easy to talk to. So I guess that's all that matters. That's all that matters. This whole alter ego that Zay says he has when he gets turned up, you know, as a grown man, is just childish. Because if Jasmine had a different personality when she wanted to go out and be a thought, Zay would have a whole issue. Catherine and Ricky. Catherine is going on a date with another Mark, except he goes by Marcus. Handsome guy, successful insurance broker. I did like him off rip just based off the fact that I was sure he seemed like he had a job. So I was sure he wouldn't have Catherine staying on the top bunk, sharing with his parents. I'm glad Catherine actually got dressed up for this date because she was dressed for jogging on her last date. Her and Marcus go painting. Catherine and Marcus are both coincidentally from Dallas, Texas. Texas, stand up. This is my first time hearing Catherine does hair for a living. Maybe I missed it, which is amazing. But I was like, why is she with Ricky then, who is seemingly unemployed? Ricky gives unemployed, cool, laid back, with some good penis. Like, that's what he gives. But Ricky definitely gives unemployed. To make matters better, Marcus has no kids. So I'm like, Catherine, what more do you need to see in a man to know that there is so much better out there? Jaisha and Joya. Joya looks really pretty in her pink going on her new date. Unfortunately, I don't think Joya would ever take any of these dates seriously. She wants Jaisha. She reminds me of Charlie from last season with the dude with the balding. I agree with Jaisha. He has it in the bag. I don't like that for Joya though, but that's just what I get. I get that, yeah, Jaisha has no competition really. I wish that Joya would see what else was out there. If Jaisha is going to continue to string her along and she ended up having to compromise what she wants. I do want her to see what's out there. Jacoby is her date. He's an entrepreneur. He's tall and he's handsome. I thought off rip he was a great pick for Joya. He's a great package on the initial walk up. Immediately, Jaisha ate all those confident words that he was spewing prior to Jacoby's arrival. I did like Jacoby's height joke, but I'm like, okay, leave it at that little one joke. Okay, don't do too much. Don't make it uncomfortable. It's not that deep. Jacoby says he lives by providing, protecting, and procreating for his woman. We'll see. People like to talk out the side of their necks. Joya goes right into asking what is Jacoby's idea of intimacy. He starts speaking about sex, and immediately, even before he did, I was thinking she should have made it explicitly clear what she was referring to. You know what I mean? Because sexual intimacy isn't really classy to talk about on a first date, I don't think, let alone another dude while you're in a relationship. That's just my opinion. People can talk about, sex every second of a first date if they choose, but this is my opinion. But once Joya clarified to Jacoby that she was referring to non-sexual intimacy, Jacoby had nothing to say. He was able to describe all the things he can do sexually, but when it was time to discuss non-sexual intimacy, he had nothing to say. So your 30-something-year-old behind can't name 1 or 2 ways in which you can show emotional intimacy, like cuddling, or hearing somebody out, hearing somebody vent, or spiritual intimacy, like praying together. I don't know. To me, it's a red flag when people are able to elaborate on certain topics confidently, but then they get tripped up on the most simple topics. You can't discuss this. You don't know how to describe how to express intimacy in no other way than having sex. at 30 something years old, grow up. She ends up telling Jacoby that she can make love to a man without talking to him. And she was just describing it. I was cringing. That's me. But Jacoby was picking up what she was putting down. You know, and Joya had mutual interest in him. So cool. I don't know if she'd be okay with Jaysha speaking to a woman like that. But it's a part of the process. So, you know, I do have to keep in mind that this is an abnormal dating process, you know, and things are supposed to be a little bit difficult and controversial. But I do react heavily because I'm like, girl, you got a boyfriend, but I keep forgetting they're on this show, you know, for a reason. When Joya gets back from her date, she tells Jaysha about Jacoby grabbing her hand and how she felt some chemistry. And I guess that's fine. You know, she didn't initiate the hand holding or anything. But then she tells, you know, Jaysha how Jacoby started speaking about sex and all of that. And I wish she would have clarified the actual question she asked him initially, because I think it was left up for interpretation. If I were asked about intimacy, I would immediately think of emotional and spiritual intimacy, but I could totally understand how someone would jump to physical intimacy. So don't make it seem like he just started speaking about sex out of nowhere. And I think Joya was going into all of this detail to make Jaysha jealous, but I think she just needs to let things happen naturally before it backfires. Don't go out looking thirsty, Joya. Towards the end of the episode, the couples are meeting with Dr. Stacy to recap the dates. Jasmine's date from last episode was a loser, so we already knew he wasn't a contender for Jasmine or anyone really. Zay starts joking about how the guy, you know, had a private chef business and he cooks, you know, the jokes about him cooking shirtless and having his buns out and all of that stuff. Dr. Stacy points out how Zay is joking to deflect from the discomfort of his woman going out with another man. And she was spot on. He does not want to go out on another date with Gayla because he got a cis vibe, but it's not surprising. They had no chemistry and she didn't really seem to want to be there. Jasmine isn't giving Jeremy a second date for super obvious reasons. Jaysha, and she dated him last episode. Jaysha agrees to go on a second date with Brittany. I still don't get the idea he likes her, but we'll see. And Joya does want a second date with Jacoby, and I knew she would. We find out that Catherine and Ricky are pretty much in a codependent relationship. They share everything. The car, they share the house with hella family members. Catherine helps the sister with the kids. Catherine isn't going anywhere. But this is the epitome of you can do bad by yourself, Catherine. Because being a household babysitter, coming third to Ricky's son and son's mother, not getting the marital commitment you'd like, staying with his whole family, these are all completely unavoidable. You agreed to this life. Catherine was better off in a one bedroom catching the bus. But if Catherine likes it, I love it. And Catherine in Atlanta, she's struggling to find clientele for her business. She says that Ricky knows she's really good at taking care of herself when she's in that position. So again, why are you with him? Why leave stability just to jump into a relationship with a man that won't even give you the commitment and stability that you desire and need? Make that make sense. Why would your grown behind leave Dallas without a plan to go depend on a man that isn't even dependable? He's not even independent. And then it frustrates Catherine because Ricky won't even acknowledge her efforts helping out with the kids around the house and all of this stuff. And I definitely understand, you know, why she was getting upset. But this is who and what you signed up for. Next episode, I am so glad that, you know, all the couples are going to have their dates in front of each other so that Ricky can see that Catherine is desirable out there. Of course, it won't matter if Catherine doesn't see herself as desirable. And I hope Joya doesn't do too much. Just be yourself, boo. You know what I mean? Like, the rest will follow. Don't start doing too much, trying to intimidate the woman. Just relax. Just show up on the date and let things happen naturally. And it'll all work out. But I thank you for tuning in. Put a ring on it. It was okay. It went by pretty quick. I am liking Zay and Jasmine as an addition. I don't like Zay, but I like them for the show because they're just as crazy as Dunbar and Chance. So thank you again for tuning in. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.